right, welcome back to another episode of Life Between the Sticks. As always, Brandon with my co-host, Cody. We're back. The World Cup has continued to advance. We are done with the round of 16, headed to the quarterfinals. We made some predictions. We have some stuff to review, and when we get through with it, we can make some updated predictions. This is the first day without a World Cup game.
Very strange. I actually woke up and didn't know what to do with myself.
Check the app, no games, no scores. It was boring.
It was very lonely.
It's going to be a little bit more, obviously, now as they get a few days off between the games. We have quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. So we also are nearing the end of the tournament.
Yes.
Which will come sooner than later. Give the guys some time off. Not really. Get into club football. Some are already getting back with their teams.
Yeah.
So it's just that kind of slowing down time of the World Cup, yet the games are bigger and bigger. There's only 2-3 rounds left. So.
Yeah, 3 rounds left and what, 7 games?
Yeah.
Wow. It doesn't seem like there's only 7 games left. This World Cup has gone by so fast. I mean, I feel like there was minimal build-up. Group stages went by like that, and now we're already into, the quarterfinals.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of time for build-up because it is in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
People would rather talk about the domestic season, whereas usually it's in the summer where you have an entire month to build up into it. It just was like, boom, here. I mean, they're announcing roster decisions while games are going on. It was
kind of crazy.
It was a bit messy, to say.
It was, yeah.
To say the least.
But that also sums up
a lot
World
of
Cup.
it, yeah, especially outside of the actual games.
So,
round of 16 results. We had some predictions. The first one being U.S. Netherlands. I believe you did take the Dutch.
I did, yes.
3-1 to you on that one. The U.S. Had a bad first half.
I would agree with that.
2-0 at half.
2-0 at half.
Carbon copy goals.
Yep. You want to learn how to concede the same goal twice, just go ahead and watch the U.S. in that one. But outside of the first half, I think they played very well. Obviously, a tale of two halves is a common phrase used in the world of soccer. Once the U.S. got their first goal, or their only goal, they did create quite a few more opportunities that were dangerous and put the Netherlands on the back foot.
Yeah. They definitely did in that sense. The one was that Ferrer started up top. That was the one change. He went back with Walker.
Yep.
That we saw. So, Ferrer was the change. It seemed like, well, we know that Sargent didn't even dress, so that injury he picked up against Iran kept him out of it.
Yep.
But he went with Ferrer over Hadji. He got 45 minutes, didn't really get a lot, struggled to kind of get into it. But again, those were his first minutes of the tournament.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that's not the time to trial and error. Is that right? Trial and error?
Yeah.
Just not the right timing from a coach's decisions standpoint.
I mean, we all said that Hadji Wright looked bad. So
I guess pick your poison.
You could have gone to Gio Reyna earlier, potentially. Brent Aronson just been a very fluid front three, but I mean, it just seemed like he didn't click, and then he got hooked at half, and Gio Reyna did come on. That's exactly what did happen.
It is, but I don't think you look at Ferreira or look at Ferreira's performance and say,
you're
that's
good or
on
not.
Him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not on him. That's an unfair situation to be put in, and I think being yanked at halftime is not going to do his confidence any favor.
He didn't seem like a Berhalter favorite, even though that's how it's kind of lauded.
Yeah.
The production was there, though. 17 shots, 8 on target for the United States, 11 shots, 6 on target for the Dutch. The U.S. had 59% possession, and we saw that was a tactical thing that the Dutch set up, ready to absorb. They weren't in a hurry. Yep. They seemed to be a lot more patient, where the U.S. was a little bit more antsy and trying to be on the front foot.
Yeah.
And that's where we got blasted on those counterattacks. But did you like seeing the U.S. come out looking to hunt right away versus maybe defending with 8, 9, 10 and just hoping to go to penalties?
Yes and no. I think when they came out early and Pulisic had that opportunity, missed it, goalkeeper makes a great save, however you want to phrase it, it looked very promising. And then the Dutch got the one goal, they got the second goal, the confidence kind of didn't look like it was there. Come out at the start of the second half, they believed again. They created quite a few opportunities, and just being clinical enough isn't good enough. I think the commentators on Fox, touched on it, where going into the next World Cup, these next 4 years, the U.S. has to find a deadly striker. And right now, we do not have that.
Yeah, Dempsey's on the sidelines. He's retired.
Exactly. Dempsey and Donovan are, they're commentating. They're not one of these guys anymore. And I think that the U.S. really needs that. I don't know where it's going to come from, but they have to find one.
So a couple of things that they did, obviously, not only did they sit back, but they had Depay and Gakpo essentially pin our outside backs as well, so that we had to play through the middle.
Yes.
You're leaving the ball at Ream and Walker's feet. They had to then try to find the midfield, to which they had a +1 advantage. Or I guess, they definitely had clogged the box with their 3-5-2 formation in the middle. So
absolutely,
that was something that the U.S. also wasn't ready for. And even Louis Van Gaal said after the match, they didn't adjust to it. Like, we just kind of struggled and tried to put our head down and push through it somehow.
But does that speak to the inability of Berhalter as a coach to adjust, or does that speak to the inability and lack of experience on the field?
Well, we're about to find out, because apparently USSF is prepared to open contract discussions with Berhalter.
For an extension?
That they're just going to talk.
Interesting.
And they're going to see where both sides are at.
Interesting.
So I wonder if we have a smart soccer brain in the room that can make a decision like that and give a little bit of a verdict on how did he perform or not perform.
Yes.
I thought the midfield struggled quite a bit in that game. They ended up, Mike Musa and McKennie many times were on the absolute width of the sideline, receiving the ball, which did nothing to help. It left the entire middle of the field wide open. We were not able to move the ball between lines. So again, however we want to say, were the players inexperienced and struggled to adapt? Was it Greg for not putting a better game plan or then adjusting when he realized it was happening? Well, we're not really sure, but we get to halftime down 2-0. I can tell you everybody at Brits was very down, deflated, and throwing the towel in. I don't know if I texted you then or what, but it's like, what do you need as a halftime speech? Is there any hope? What is this coach going to do? Do you rain brimstone of fire? Do you just try to say, no, we're doing the right things, do this, and we have a chance?
As a player in that situation, I don't think they needed Berhalter to come in and say, and dig into them or lay into them or tell them this or tell them that. I think they knew what they needed to do. I think that moment is a moment that every player in the world has been waiting for. The opportunity at 2-1 down or 2-0 down to just go out there, put your heart on your sleeve and give it everything you've got. Make your family proud, make your friends proud, make your country proud. I think they did that. Unfortunately, the result did not go the way that they intended. However, I think they walk out of this tournament with their heads held high, because they proved that after 8 years and the transition into youth, that it is feasible. However, I don't think the quality or the killer instinct was there.
Yeah.
But I do think that will come as this generation of player gains more experience, not only in their domestic league, but on the international stage as well.
At a minimum, you have to hope that that's going to happen. I mean, it's there. Again, my wife was like, oh, I'm so sorry the U.S. are out. I was kind of like, I'm good. Like, this is the tournament I had hoped for. Not get embarrassed in the group stage, advance to the knockout, like, put in a good performance. 2-1, there were chances to go level.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they just hit
There were chances to go up 1-0 in the 5th minute.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, you find yourself 2-0 down. They did fight. They did show well. There were chances. How about the physics-defying goal from Haji Wright?
Yeah, I watched that probably 5 or 6 times, and
it went over a 6'8" goalkeeper at that weird angle somehow.
I can't explain that. That's
it was absurd.
That's a one-off finish. He undoubtedly knew nothing about it. It kind of hit him. It's like when a goalkeeper makes a save, a reaction save, and it just kind of hits you. Goalkeeper puts himself in the right position, does everything right technically, and he makes a save.
He was at least level with the near post, facing away from the goal, and it somehow...
It hit his back foot, did it not?
Well, okay, yes, it was facing, again, the sideline. It was away from the goal. It somehow pops up and over, and just the immense amount of spin takes it backwards, and it just happened to be at the right angle where it went into side netting.
It's pretty impressive. It really is.
You'd never be able to practice that or do that again.
No.
And again, when we saw it happen in slow-mo as fans, we were just like, I can't believe this is about to go in. This is about to go in.
And you just see the goalkeeper just watching it, and he's, no.
Nothing you could do about it.
No.
It was insane. It was the most ridiculous
He's kind of
thing.
just watching that ball and hoping that it either goes wide of the far post or over the top of the crossbar.
Again, the most laughable gravity physics defying goal that I'd ever seen. But again, the fight was there. My friend correctly predicted, he goes, this game will not, he goes, there's another goal in this one.
Yeah.
At 3-1, it went the wrong way. But even at 3-1, I think, like, being down by 2, knowing that, hey, we had goals in us, we finally pushed, was what I was happy to see. So again, I was like, you know what, we showed well. I'm happy. There's a huge building blocks we put in place right now for 2026.
Agreed.
And again, having home field advantage will be just an intangible benefit that we can ride. And again, second youngest team, really proud, happy.
Absolutely.
The Dutch, they were just clean and efficient today. So kudos to them. The other one on the other side of the bracket was Argentina-Australia. Argentina winning 2-1. But again, Australia putting a good fight, not going out without giving it their best. And it ended up being the Argentines rolling through.
Yeah. I think from the start you kind of knew that Argentina was going to win it. I just don't think Australia, again, had the ability, had the capability, had the firepower to break down an Argentinian team that,
has Messi.
has Messi. And if you watch the highlights, their goal, or if you watch the game, their goal comes from a severe deflection. To that point, they hadn't really created much. They had taken their 2 goal scorers from the group stage off the field, and it was kind of just, I think we're going to give guys minutes. We know we're not advancing. But Argentina was the stronger team, and I think that they deserved to advance.
Yeah, they did. France beating Poland pretty easily 3-1.
Yep.
I don't think there's really anything too crazy about that. This might have been the game that Giroud became the all-time scorer for France.
Yes.
So obviously huge for him. Mbappe as well scoring. He is leading the Golden Boot race right now with 5 goals. Everybody else is tied with 3.
Yes. And did he become the the highest scoring French player in a World Cup?
Like most goals in a single tournament?
No, most goals spread over World Cup appearances. I thought Mbappe earned some historic
I'm sure he did.
landmark as well in the same game.
Yeah, I mean, he's, 21, 22, so he's got a ton more World Cup goals in him. England, Senegal, England 3, Senegal 0. Pretty straightforward for this lot.
Yeah. I mean, England, it took them a while, I would say, to get into the game. But once they figured out the formula, Senegal didn't really stand a chance. It took maybe 25, 30 minutes, I think.
Was it 0-0 at half?
I don't know.
No, Harry
it
Kane
was-
scored.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson scored in the 39th minute.
Yeah.
Harry Kane scored right before halftime, and then Bukayo Saka put the
But
nail
once
in the
once
coffin.
they figured out the formula, Senegal didn't really stand a chance. England looked clinical. They looked very good defensively, and it's just unfortunate that there was no Sadio Mane this World Cup, because I think that is it's a different game.
But they went out to be physical. They did a good job. It was just too much firepower. England looked really good as well. Again, Senegal were one of two teams from AFCON that advanced. They showed some good fight and some spirit, some different things of that nature. So it's not all lost for them. They were the AFCON champions. Again, it's probably the difference of having a Sadio Mane versus not. Within that squad. So I'm sure that they were going to look at it as a successful tournament as well, which means the U.S. probably are happy making it to that round. Australia's probably happy. Poland, I don't know if they are or not, but I'm telling them they should be happy that they made it that far.
Because they did not look good at any stage throughout the World Cup.
They did
especially
not.
with Lewandowski not firing on all cylinders.
Didn't do anything. And then Senegal as well. So, so far, the top half of the bracket, you say, okay, you know what? This seems like the right teams made it, and then the right teams advanced. We can move on. Now, on the bottom side of this bracket is where it gets way different. So, Japan-Croatia was the first game to go to knockout penalties. It was 1-1 in regulation time. Again, Japan, the master of winning without the ball. Croatia loves the ball with Kovacic and Modric in midfield. And it was very tight. Neither team did anything at extra time. They weren't going to risk it. And so once about 5-6 minutes into an extra time, I was like, all right, penalties. We should just fast forward, go right to it. Both teams won it.
Yeah.
And my word, Japan looked like that was the first time they'd been in a penalty shootout.
They fumbled the football. They really did. I thought Japan had played a heck of a game to that point. Unfortunately, as Spain did, they did not live up to the expectations of penalties or what someone would expect of that player, that caliber of player at that level in a penalty shootout. There were some bad penalties in this round of 16.
Yeah. They only made the one with Asano. Livaja missed for Croatia, but they were 3 for 4. Japan was 1 for 4. I mean, that's just gonna do it. Modric didn't even have to take it at this one, which you'd assume he would. So Japan go crashing out.
Modric was off the field.
Oh yeah, at that point. So I think you had Japan going on. Obviously, this is the big upset, essentially in the group for you. But again, talk about a nation should be super proud. I don't think anybody had them advancing, let alone from a group of Spain and Germany in it.
Right. I think that they should definitely be proud of what they accomplished at this World Cup, taking the former third place team.
Third place. Croatia got second.
Second?
Yeah, they lost to France.
Second place team, the former
runner-up
to penalties in the round of 16. I think that it's an incredible accomplishment for Japan, and I think that their fan base, their players, their coach, their country will be proud.
Morocco, Spain, the shocker,
What a
I think,
game.
of the day on this one. 0-0 in regulation time.
That alone is a shocker.
Spain had 1 shot on target out of 13 shots.
That's it? Wow. Yeah, that'll do it.
Was it not the one in the very, very end of extra time that hit the post and glanced off?
I don't think do crossbars and posts count?
That's target, I think so. Either way, okay, so then maybe 2, right? Yeah. It's not
if we're gonna count that.
Not good
and
enough.
if it's not counting. Yeah.
Morocco 6 shots, 2 on target. They only had 23% possession. Spain had over 1,000 passes. I've never seen a team with more than 1,000 passes. Like upper 700s, maybe low 800s, fine. They had 1,019 passes to Morocco's 305.
That is quite the statistic, and that shows the ability of Morocco to sit in, absorb, defend, and at the same time create issues, because they did cause Spain issues on the counter.
It was to the point where it was just laughable. Offsides at the end for Spain. They have no one to blame but themselves. And apparently their coach had told all the players to take 1,000 penalties before the tournament to get prepared. Either that backfired because they're so fatigued from taking penalties,
or they
did not, because their pens were atrocious as well.
They were.
The Moroccan goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper guessed the right way. He makes the saves. He probably has done his homework, or at least the goalkeeper coach or team analysts have done the homework and passed it along to the goalkeeper. I mean, he walks off that field an absolute hero.
He sure does. Right away, Sarabia off the post, missed. Sabiri scored. Then Carlos Soler, just with an iffy pen, missed. Ziyech scores. Sergio Busquets, of all people, tries to do the slow, waits, hits it very comfortably to the goalkeeper's right, one palm out. But then Benoun missed. You're like, uh-oh, here we go. Is there like a twist? But at that point, after 3 rounds, the Spanish team had no goals, was crazy. And of course, Hakimi was having a great tournament, buried it, and they go on. It was just a bad result from them. Yeah, it's the first time Spain's first penalty taker in a World Cup shootout has ever missed.
Wow, that is that's fascinating. That's a fascinating statistic, because I don't think many countries could say that.
And it just shows you how automatic they are.
Yeah.
And then the team who shoots second has won the last 7 World Cup shootouts. Do you guys talk about that when you go into shootouts? Like if you want to shoot first or second?
No.
I think statistically, whoever shoots second, I don't know, I have to double check. But there's a stat where if you go first, where the pressure's off you, you win most of the time. This would tell you in the World Cup, it's not that way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you should.
That is very interesting. We should look into that. I would like to know that for future penalty shootouts.
For sure. I'm saving the best for last, but Portugal, Switzerland, 6-1. Portugal dismantling the Swiss offering up nothing really of anything in this one.
No.
And they, again...
And Portugal dominating without Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, so probably the big talking thing was him on the bench.
Yes.
The Swiss, they came out of a group with Brazil, Cameroon, and Serbia. I think it was very up for grabs. That second spot was very much up for grabs in that group.
Yep.
They just happened to take it, but there was never really any expectations of them in this one. To your point, the coach decided that Ronaldo should start from the bench today. He put in Gonzalo Ramos, who rewarded the gaffer with a hat trick within 67 minutes.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive effort to not only score a hat trick in a World Cup round of 16 game, but also to step into the shoes of Cristiano Ronaldo and score a hat trick. I can only imagine he approached that game with I'm going to go out there and give it my all and hope that I do my best. And he certainly delivered.
Well, did you see his first goal? He was outside the near post turn, half a yard, smashed it.
High, upper. Well,
who hits that?
I will say this. I conceded one of those goals this season versus Joe Louis in Colorado, and I was yelled at. So, hey, it happens to the best goalkeepers in the world. I'm not saying that I'm one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I'm just saying it happens to the best.
Yeah, you're going
very
to bat
interesting.
For Jan Sommer.
I am, yes, because I've conceded that goal, and I'm going to tell you this much right now. It is high in the near post is very difficult to defend because, one, you're not expecting a player to have that much time and space in the box as well as turn a defender in the box. And you're also coached, most goalkeepers are coached to, kind of go into a blocking shape when you're in your near post zone, near post area, because most players aren't going to have the time and space to just rifle one into the high.
It's a
high near post.
Highly acute angle as well.
It is.
And then you have your natural instincts, your body that doesn't want to smash your head into the post. And so you're
that
not really
also
trying to wrap yourself. But it was a pinpoint with power goal. He's 21, plays with Benfica. If he does anything else with this World Cup, I expect someone to jump in for him in January and just take a punt on him. I think his transfer market value is like $23 million. It'll be at least $43 million after that game alone.
Yeah, and it's wild to see that play out. The market value of a player jump that significantly off of 1 or 2 games. It is absolutely fascinating, and all power to him. However, it was just one of those games where I don't think whatever the Swiss threw at the Portuguese, it was going to play out in the Swiss's favor. I think that they were just out for blood. They had a point to prove, and I think they proved that point.
Yeah, I think, with him being so young and ceiling so high, he set the tone for the group as well.
Agreed.
We'll have to see kind of how that shakes out with him. He's replacing Darwin Núñez, who obviously had the big summer move to Liverpool. He's the one that has to fill in. I think he has like 8 goals in 11 games already this season. So,
hey, not a bad replacement. If
one
you're,
to watch. Yeah. All right, last one of this round.
Can I also say, Manuel Neuer conceded a very similar goal in the first game of the group stage versus who did they play in the first?
Japan. Yeah, he
versus
did.
Japan.
This was such a more acute angle. It's crazy. But yeah, he got
high
top-shelved
in the near post too.
Yeah,
and it's.
You gonna name some more names? Put more names on the record.
I could, but in this World Cup I cannot, because it only happened twice, and it happened not only to arguably to one of the greatest goalkeepers ever, or of the modern era, but also a very capable Swiss international. Yeah. And I don't think the first goal of Portugal you can really count against Summer. So
set the tone though for an absolute dismantling. The last one is Brazil 4, South Korea 1. Brazil look so good.
When their foot is on the pedal, they are, and that's exactly why they're not only, I think, FIFA's number 1 in the world. Are they FIFA ranked number 1?
I'll double check.
But they were the favorite going into this World Cup, and they were certainly my favorite in terms of logic. My brain's favorite.
Yeah, I mean, we said it, our first episode, I said it as well, I think that they are going out looking at being the top team. They are the FIFA Coca-Cola world ranking.
Shout out to Coca-Cola.
Belgium was 2, Argentina 3, France 4, England 5.
I would strongly disagree. 5. Who was number 2?
Belgium. Argentina 3, France 4, England 5.
That is a very poor top 5 looking at the World Cup at this stage.
Italy was 6, not here. Spain 7, Netherlands 8, Portugal 9, Denmark 10. Is this the world ranking? It is.
Belgium and Denmark. I think Denmark leading into this World Cup looked a lot better than they performed. However, I do not agree that Belgium deserved to be number 2 in the world. That's very interesting.
I mean, again,
ranking. I wonder how teams get ranked. Is it off performance? Is it off votes? What do you think it's off of?
No, they have a point system in here.
Point system.
Brazil has 1,841.3 points.
How do you get points?
Well, I mean, we'll dissect that a little bit later, but because I don't have all the points in, or all the breakdown in here, but it's it's an annoyingly detailed system, and they do it that way so that no one can get in trouble for making a decision or having an opinion.
Of course, yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. Well,
I know the pen
what FIFA's known for.
Yeah, I know the pen was a little bit soft, but it didn't matter. I mean, it's not like that changed the game.
You're talking about the second goal, Neymar's penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't change the game. They had been all over them. Brazil had been all over them from the first whistle. It was 4-0 at halftime, 3-0 at halftime.
No, I think it was 4. Yeah, they scored 4 in 36 minutes.
Yeah, it was quite an entertaining game to watch. If you missed it,
Yeah, 18 shots, 9 on target for Brazil. 8 shots, 6 on target for South Korea. So they were highly effective with the ball.
They were, and they tested Brazil. However, the Brazilian defense and Alisson performed very well, and you can see that from the 1 or 2, 3 saves, top class saves that Alisson makes. So,
and I think they said he didn't face a shot on goal in the group play or something like that.
I think, I
It must have been
sure.
Ederson that gave up the goal then
Yeah.
in the last match. So
Well, then they subbed Alisson off. Did you see
yeah,
that?
and they put Weaverton, their third string goalkeeper.
So every goalkeeper or every player
Yes.
got minutes at this World Cup.
Yes.
In my opinion, if I am South Korea, I feel extremely disrespected for 2 things. 1, the coach dancing with Richarlison after his goal, and 2, subbing a goalkeeper in a World Cup game in the round of 16 is a little much, in my opinion.
So that's why I wanted to bring some of these things up. You've got some of the old white grumpy guys on Sky, ITV complaining. You've got Roy Keane upset that the Brazilians are dancing. You've got
I don't disagree with the dancing.
well, I know, but I was saying.
However, I disagree with the manager joining in the dancing. They're supposed to be professional. They're supposed to, really portray the team. I mean, I guess in this case, that is portraying the team. But
it looks like he's right in step with everybody, doing a little samba.
Yeah, I don't know.
So is it their fault for kicking the shit out of South Korea, or is it South Korea's fault for conceding for and letting Brazil have the opportunity to make those subs? And remember, they're doing it for what's best for Brazil. It's not like they took Alisson and put him up top and were like, go get one big guy.
Yeah.
To be fair, he is a professional. They had an opportunity to get him some minutes in a World Cup. They brought him. They might need him later.
Yeah, and you look at the final group stage game for Germany. They brought on a player that had been to 3 World Cups, never played a game. They kind of packed it in, knew they were not advancing, and they brought, I can't remember his name, but they brought him on as well.
The K was super long.
We dissect it, we talk about it. I understand what the Brazilian manager is doing.
Oh, it's full Krug.
Yes. I understand what the Brazilian manager is doing. However, I personally do not agree with, subbing a goalkeeper in a World Cup game. I just...
Protect your assets, I suppose.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're just upset. Look, this is what we love about Brazil.
Of course. And
the way they orchestrate passes, their free-flowing attack, the way that they just love football and it gives them life.
Yeah.
This is part of what we loved about the 2002 World Cup team. I mean, especially the Nike Tiempo commercials with all their guys in there, Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, El Fenomeno, Ronaldo, R9. They were just clicking.
I agree.
And to be fair, what I love about watching sports when it's not Chelsea, where I'm blinded by passion. Even when this summer I got to watch the MLS All-Stars versus the Liga MX All-Stars, it was just fun watching some of the best players in the world do their thing.
Agreed.
I'm so excited that we get to watch Brazil be peak Brazil, even if that means teams are going to get the shit kicked out of them along the way.
I agree.
Because they are so good.
They are. And from my perspective, I agree 100% with that. I just don't want it to turn into disrespectful.
Sure.
On the world stage.
Sure.
And I don't think that players running off to the corner flag, celebrating with their teammates with a little samba dance is disrespectful. However, in my opinion, I do think the coach getting involved is a little much. Maybe not disrespectful, but a little much.
Yeah. What's the most over-the-top celebration you've done?
Ooh. I don't know.
We won a regulation game against our rivals in college, and we scored. We won 1-0 right before halftime, and I ran up, and that was the only goal
you ran
I ever
up to celebrate with the
team. Who thank God they ran to the bench, so I had to run half the field.
I would say mine would probably be in a penalty shootout, having maybe in the Canadian Championship this season. I can think of when we played Calgary or Calvary away, Calvary FC away, in Calgary. We went into penalties, and I made 1 or 2 saves, and I think I celebrated then, and it was quite.
Take the shirt off.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but
goalkeepers can't get stuck in your gloves.
Yeah, that's also true. I would have, however, run around with the shirt off if it would have come off easily. But
come on, man, you're playing a CPL team. Speaking of disrespect.
Well, yeah, that's true.
All right. So now the quarterfinals are set. Netherlands, Argentina, Croatia, Brazil are on the top half of the bracket. England, France, and Morocco, Portugal are on the bottom half of the bracket. Here's my biggest shithouse take that I've been able to come up with. This is probably the most shithouse thing I think I've ever said, let alone for this World Cup. There is a version of reality where Messi and Ronaldo meet in the World Cup final to once and for all settle the debate of who's the GOAT.
I will tell you this much.
What if
those two advance to the final and that is the outcome?
We're going.
We're not only going, but I will be more than okay with England not advancing to the final.
Would that not be the ultimate?
That would be the ultimate
storyline.
Yes, especially because both of them
are about to leave Europe.
I think they're both done after this World Cup in terms of playing in World Cups.
Oh, easily.
I don't think either of them is coming back to another World Cup.
They're both leaving Europe. This is it.
Miami is talking about bringing Messi to the MLS, and
he's going to Saudi Arabia potentially.
He denied that today, though.
Of course, he did in
the press.
Yeah, he went.
What was it? 200 million.
Yeah, 2.5-year contract.
I'm not sure I'd turn down 200 million a year. But.
And they're saying they're waiting to see what Messi does because he doesn't want to exit Europe before Messi, right? Look, the stars would align in the most salacious way ever if it was a Messi versus Ronaldo.
That would be absolutely incredible.
But here's the thing: Ronaldo didn't start this last game.
There's no way you don't start Cristiano Ronaldo in a World Cup final if Portugal somehow gets there.
Do you think he allows that?
No. He's calling anybody and everybody in Portugal that matters to force their gaffer's hand. There's no chance he's not playing in a World Cup final.
Out right on the field. He will force everything.
Could you imagine him not starting and just standing in the middle of the field until the manager made this?
Like you said, there's no way it doesn't happen, even if it's at the the lack of a benefit for the team. But if we're a little bit more pragmatic about that, you've got Netherlands and Argentina. You'd assume this would be a pretty close game the way both teams are playing. Argentina's still riding the Messi effect, hit the 1,000th career game. Yeah. He knows that this is his last World Cup.
Who is your take?
Well, I would like to see Argentina go on, not because of the Netherlands knocking out the U.S. Again, I just think that I would like to see Messi get as close as he possibly could. The Dutch are a team, though. They are. It's hard to know. The U.S. put up a bit of a fight, but I don't think that the Netherlands were ever really challenged.
I don't either.
And they had a really weak group as well. So, again, you just come back to, this might be their first real challenge. How do they handle it?
I don't know, because, as you said, I don't think the Dutch have been tested. I sent a friend a message during the game versus the United States, and I said I don't think the Dutch have gotten out of fifth gear.
Yeah.
Or fourth gear.
Yeah.
There were times where they were teetering on changing gears there, but I don't really think they were in fifth or sixth gear, and I don't think they have been at all in this tournament. That said, without being in that position, I don't know if you can just turn it on. So this game is going to go... It's going to be a very difficult game. It's going to be a very entertaining game, and in my opinion, I think Argentina takes it.
Yeah, the other one then, Croatia-Brazil. So you could also have an Argentina-Brazil. It's a long road for either Argentina or Portugal to make it. Again, Brazil to me is a strong favorite. Like Croatia, it's been fun. You've done really well. I don't see that team having the gas to get through this. They're a thin team. They don't make a lot of subs. Brazil can recycle their entire attack, and they would look legit.
I agree. in the last game versus Japan, they also their star players looked gassed, which is why they came off, which is why they were subbed off. I just don't see Croatia beating Brazil. I would agree.
Yeah. And who knows, right? This is why you play the game, but everything points to Brazil
100%.
in the final, no matter
Absolutely.
who they come up against. Portugal, Morocco.
Well, I think we both counted Morocco out in the last
Yeah, I think
in the last
most
round.
people
I think
had
most
Spain.
people would, beating Morocco. However, I just don't know if everybody counts Morocco out again, do they surprise everybody again? Do they beat Portugal? Do they beat this team that just smacked the Swiss?
Look, I think they cashed in all their points. Getting past Spain.
Agreed.
I think that Portugal blowing 6 past the Swiss, they're gonna have extra confidence. But the difference maker here is Morocco didn't score; they survived. 13 shots. Portugal's going to put them on frame. Spain did not.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spain had every opportunity to win that game, and they just
absolutely.
didn't.
They just didn't. Right.
But Portugal were clinical in their match. It looks like it's only going to take one to beat a Morocco team.
Yeah.
So again, just the way that Portugal's attack is being far more clinical. The ability to bring Ronaldo off the bench as a super sub late in the game, who can not only score goals but is an aerial threat. I just think that Portugal has too much firepower.
Agreed.
And especially if this Gonzalo, whatever, plays again, then he's probably, just going to continue to start Gonzalo Ramos. What can the Moroccan defense do?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's inevitable that Ronaldo will not start in this game after the lineup that was
We got a funny one for you about that.
Oh, what do you
I
have
saw a
for me?
post that Marca, the Madrid paper, posted that Ronaldo refused to do a training session with the reserves and instead did a recovery session with the starters.
If that's true, this man is the ultimate wiener. I don't know. Is it an ego thing? Is it? I don't know. I don't know.
We'll find out, but
We will. I think it's inevitable, regardless of it all. I think it's inevitable that the Portuguese starting lineup is a carbon copy of what it was versus the Swiss. I don't think there's an argument to put Ronaldo back in the team after they score 6. That said, it is Ronaldo. It is Portugal. I guess you never know.
Yeah, no, Mark is standing by it and said that he definitely was like, "No, I'm going to train with the starters." Came on in the 74th minute, played 15 minutes plus extra time.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
All right, then the last one is the big one, England versus France.
I think this is the game of the quarterfinals. The 4th place team from the last World Cup facing the World Cup winners, the defending champions. I think, as FIFA ranked them, it's 1 versus 5.
Oh, Coca-Cola ranked them.
Ah, yes, Coca-Cola.
No, it would be 4 versus 5. France are 4th, England are 5th.
Yes, sorry, France are 4th. 4 versus 5. I think, gosh, it's such a tough one. I think it's an even matchup all around. I think, obviously, Mbappe is going to be your standout player for France. It depends on how well he's going to match up or how well he's going to do against England. However, I think England have one of the only players in the world that can keep up with Kylian Mbappe.
Harry Maguire.
To some degree. Harry Maguire, you legend. No, Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the only players that stride might be able to compete with Kylian Mbappe stride for stride.
Put Mbappe on the other side. Let him run at Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire.
This is true, and
You know?
my guess is going to be that that's what they do because in isolation, Harry Maguire will look like an absolute buffoon against Kylian Mbappe.
I mean, did you see the clip of Mbappe baiting the Polish defender and just waited, and then he just turned and was gone?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was on skates.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. That said, I do think England, if they are able to contain Kylian Mbappe, I do believe England advance.
Big if.
Big if.
You got Pickford.
My heart tells me England. My brain tells me France.
What do you think that Pickford's going to do if Mbappe gets him behind it? He's going to come flying out of goal and try to do something. It's going to be calamitous.
Oh, it's going to be another Wayne Hennessy moment.
That's my biggest concern for England. Yeah. So how do you think they approach it? Because they've been very defensive or not the aggressor in some of these bigger games. France, I think, are very comfortable where they're at. I think they're playing well. But, their midfield, it's going to be a 2 versus 3 in there.
Yep.
I would like to see England come out and, try to throw a punch right away.
I agree.
If they sit back for 90 minutes.
It's not going to be pretty. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think England need to come out fast, and they think they need to, punch them in the face.
Go for
early.
It.
Yeah, you might as well. That said, I think the first 20 minutes is going to be it's either going to be, it's going to go one of two ways. It's going to be very entertaining the first 20 minutes, or it's going to be so boring that people want to fall asleep because they're trying to feel each other out.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not going to be any middle ground.
A lot of passing through the back line, slow probing, not really seeing things. At some point, England need to step up and act like a big team if they want to win this tournament.
Well, and that's been their issue in big tournaments. They don't ever do that.
Opportunity. Yeah. Again, they've walked through to this point. There's no reason that they shouldn't come out and just with some swagger and go for it. Now, will they? I don't know. We'll see. So those are predictions as we go through. Or I guess you were saying, you hope England goes. You think it's going to be France. I'm going to go with England as well because they could do it. This my only thing is if Gareth Southgate, kind of struts them out slowly, then it's not going to happen. So, again, England go out and dominate, and they should have it. So, the Golden Boot, like we said, and Kylian Mbappe is leading the race on 5 goals. A plethora of players on 3. Alvaro Morata out, Saka in, Gakpo in, Enner Valencia out. Gonzalo Ramos went from not on the list to in second place after 1 game hat-trick.
Fantastic. Well done.
So he's still in it. Messi with 3, Rashford with 3, Olivier Giroud with 3, and Richarlison all with 3. And then assists, Bruno Fernandes is leading with Harry Maguire. They both have 3.
Harry Maguire.
And they're both
well
still
done.
in it. Pulisic was up there with 2. So Davy Klaassen, Denzel Dumfries, the 2 Dutch players on that list. Ivan Perisic is still in it. João Felix is in it with 2. Kylian Mbappe is 2. Ousmane Dembele is 2. Phil Foden's 2. Rafael Guerrero is 2. And Theo Hernandez is 2. So a lot of players still involved.
Yeah.
What someone was telling me is that if there's a tie in the Golden Boot, it then goes to assists.
That's interesting.
A tiebreaker. So again, Kylian Mbappe is the only one that's on both lists. So you would think he's in a pretty good spot if someone were to catch him. But I don't think he's done at 5.
I don't think so either. I think he gets one versus England. However, I hope he does not. Who's the Golden Glove right now? Is there a Golden Glove in the World Cup?
They're not showing it. There is goalkeeper of the tournament. I don't know kind of who it would be at this point. I suppose England's had quite a few shutouts.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking to see
2.
No other. That was the only 0-0 game besides Morocco, Spain. So, and we know that Spain gave up goals all tournament. Yep. So, Pickford might be a sneaky shout in there, but
attaboy.
That again would be a bummer. Anyways, the quarterfinals are set.
They are, and I am excited.
We've got some games Friday and Saturday, so make sure you carve out some time on Friday. You've got both of them are at 1 p.m. So we're back to, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Yep, and then on Saturday it's 1 p.m. So we're back to 2 games at the same time, which I find to be a little bit annoyed because they're not
Both
even
games?
connected.
No, they're not. Are they?
This is what Google's saying.
I think Google's wrong. I think it's 9 a.m. both days. There's one game at 9 and one game at 1.
So you think it's 9 and 1, 9
9
and
and
1
1.
for the same bracket?
I think so.
All right, let me confirm because I'm finally taking a second to read this, and you're correct. So Croatia, Brazil is 9 a.m. Netherlands and Argentina is 1 p.m. on Friday, and then same thing Saturday is 9 a.m. Morocco, Portugal, 1 p.m. England, France.
The game.
Yeah,
The game.
the last one of the group.
I will be glued to my television Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna have to take some time off work on Friday. I think.
Yeah.
It's all coming a bit big. And then next Tuesday are the semifinals, and then Sunday the 18th is the World Cup final. Just
Fantastic.
about 10 days
Can't
away.
wait.
I'm excited. It's finally heating up. We're letting the soccer do the talking. The football is putting on a show, and that's exactly what we want. So,
Perfect.
Anyways, we're out there. Again, continue to share it with friends. We appreciate it as we grow this thing. A lot of hot takes, so you can get involved with us on Instagram or TikTok if you want to reply. Would love to hear your comments. Plus, if you listen on Spotify, I put a Q&A at the bottom, so you can always ask us questions, and we'll put it in there. So anyways, Cody, we're out.
We are out.
Quarterfinals, we're here. Have a good one.